Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Darleen. Now, my special guest is Victoria from VR Success Services. I'm really excited because Victoria's on the other side of the world to me. And Victoria is a success and leadership coach who focuses on helping women eradicate lives of scarcity and lack, which I'd love to talk about, and teaches them ways to rewire their brain program through proven practices that achieve lasting abundance and success in their lives. Yes. As a single mum of 7, established a successful coaching business and founded a success services agency that specializes in professional services to help their clients stand out as leaders in their industry so they can advance their careers and businesses. And I love this. And I want to talk about Victoria's professional background is in social work, psychology, and English. And her roots in personal advancement stem from her passion and experience. And she's made it her ultimate mission to help those ready to transform their lives to overcome their perceived limitations. Now, I just love that you're actually doing that because, and when I read about scarcity and lack, I went, oh my goodness, that's been me. That's like was me basically my whole adult life until I suddenly went, what's going on? And so I wish I'd actually had you back then because it would have helped me so much quicker. Took me ages. So
Yeah.
I would love to just know more about how you actually do that. What's the real passion behind helping women do that?
So that was me as well. Uh,
Mm,
it was it was basically knowing, well, at the time before I went through my transformation to letting go of scarcity,
mm,
um, I felt that I was living a life in a circle or a cycle that I kept repeating over and over and over again. Um, I always had just enough or
mm,
just enough to get by, and there was never more. And it was just, I was a single mom too, I mean, at the time as well. And I just kept thinking like there has to
mm,
be more.
mm,
There has to be more because I was working and I was, doing all the right things. And
mm,
I just felt like I was just living paycheck to paycheck and sometimes just barely making it to payday and sometimes not making it to payday. So um I mean, not just about money, but even just even like, relationships in my life seem
mm,
to be very betraying. And that's all part of like
mm,
this whole expecting
mm,
um scarcity, expecting lack
mm,
from other people, not expecting abundance from other people as
mm,
well. Abundance doesn't just have to be money, right?
yes.
So abundance can be love and
Mm,
um daily experience
mm,
and abundance and happiness and
mm,
abundance and peace, and um all the things that I really wanted seemed in my head,
mm,
not in my world.
mm,
And I did start reading a lot. I'm a huge reader, right? So I started reading a lot about the mind, a lot about how I had the power to change things. So
mm,
it was something that like just kind of was like a spark. And I was
mm,
like, hey, if I have the power to change things, then I have to figure out how, right?
mm,
Because I can't just know that I can. I have to actually do it,
mm,
right? And I did. I started I don't know, I call it like mind play. I started playing around with creating my own reality.
mm,
And um I found that I was able to do so much transforming from lack to scarcity in almost every single area of my life.
mm,
But when it came to money and when it came to like tangible,
mm,
success and things like that, it seemed a little bit more difficult. And I think the reason it seemed a little more difficult is because of my personal belief system around money. Like I had been raised in um I mean, we never had a lot of money, right? So
mm,
I had been raised and also I was always told when I was younger that having a lot of money was a bad thing, right? So there was
yeah,
this like disconnect because I'm like, well, I don't want to be bad, you
mm,
know, as a child. And
mm,
so I had a horrible belief system around money
mm,
and it was embedded in me deeply. I think I had probably passed it on to my older children as well. Uh, and without meaning to,
mm,
like without being intentional with it, I just was like, this is just how life is. Life is hard and you have to work hard and sometimes there's not enough. And
mm,
um once I started realizing that I was basically creating this program and, creating the program for even like my kids at the time, I really started to be mindful and to make changes from that day. And everything changed.
Mm,
Everything changed dramatically,
mm,
where it was like literally a complete opposite 180.
mm,
And seeing the difference in my life and seeing the difference in my experience, seeing the difference in my feelings, in my whole entire transformation really made me want to help other people that were in my same position.
mm,
Because as a social worker, I had seen many of my clients who had amazing potential, tons of dreams and
mm,
desires, but many of them lived in scarcity as well, because that's what they were raised in. That's what we all knew,
mhm,
that's what was normal, that's what
mm,
was accepted, and that's what we felt was life.
mm,
And to me, I felt like this like burning fire. I was like, I have to show people that this isn't life.
mm,
Just because you were brought up in a certain way, no, you can change it. You can change it. You can have something totally better. You can change all your generations to come, and that's like my goal,
mm,
right? So if I change it now, my children will carry it with them to
mm,
their children. Their children won't have to live in scarcity, you know, and theirs won't have to live in scarcity. And then like we're literally changing the
mhm,
trajectory of like many generations to come
mm,
after us, right? Like to me, it's that important, that serious. So
mm.
I kind of went off on a huge tangent, but I hope that answered your question.
And you're talking my language, like, and a lot of that was actually my life as well. And I
Mhm.
really want to hone in on the fact that you said, we can imagine this beautiful life in our head, but we've got to take action. And that is so important because, like when I was growing up, my imagination was just full blown. And so I imagined this amazing life, yet I didn't take any actions towards it. And I also grew up in scarcity and everything as well. And so, I really want to hone in on the fact that you've got to take the action. And you talked about how you're changing generational, but you're also changing your clients. And just by being you, you're inspiring your friends and your family and everything else. And that's what
Yeah,
we can do.
yeah. That's the power behind it,
Mm,
because it's not just you and your life, it's
mm,
helping other people, and kind of like it's, to me, it's almost like shedding that light. Like it's
mm,
already there.
mm,
It's not anything that you have to completely go into a whole new world. No,
mm,
it's the other way around. It's already there.
mm,
And you tapping into that and actually making it a part of your existence creates a whole new world, but you
mm,
don't have to go anywhere.
mm,
So it's almost like just turning the light on. I feel like, turn the light on and seeing what's possible for you.
mm,
One thing that you mentioned, so I was a huge daydreamer as a child, huge. Like my stories in my head would go
mm,
on forever. And then even like as a teen and
mm,
even as an adult.
yeah,
But one thing that I always remember, and it's different now, but
mm,
when I was living in scarcity, is that I would wake up from my daydream and be like, Stop it. That's never gonna happen. That was just a dream,
mhm,
right? It's, you know,
mhm,
let's deal with real life. Let's deal with reality,
yep,
right? And it sometimes caused like such a detached feeling where
mm,
that was like my daydream world and then this is my reality, and they were so different that um it caused like stress and unhappiness about it, right? Like it's like you don't feel good when you keep thinking about things that you think in your head you'll never have,
yep,
right?
mhm,
So that took me even further into scarcity and
mm,
further away from abundance, because the more that you dwell in those negative feelings and
mhm,
energies, and you create more of the same in your brain, more of the same scarcity program in your mind. So daydreaming, I feel like, is one of our gifts. It's one of
mm,
our powers. It's like our visualization of what we could have in the future. Um, and it's also a clue to how to connect to it, right? But if you're feeling so detached from your daydreams that they seem absolutely impossible, then
mm,
it's a really good indication that you are living in scarcity somehow, some way, because you feel that there's no way you could ever achieve that,
mm,
right? That's a good way to look at things. That's how I used to see it. I didn't know at the time it was living in scarcity until I came out of it and I started looking back and I was like, yeah, I always stopped myself from going on with the dream because I just looked at it as an impossible
Mm,
dream, right? Or now when I have like, when I think of something, I get so excited. Like it's not, I'm not sad because I won't have it. I'm like,
mm,
oh, it's so exciting. Okay, so let me just see what I can do to make it happen or
mm,
what I can do to make it come closer. Because I mean, I'm seeing this for a reason. So it's so much different now than when I used to stop myself from daydreaming because I believed that I would never have it.
mm.
And that wasn't nice.
Yeah, and it's so true because and you're so right about our beliefs. Like, it took me a long time to really look at my beliefs and everything. And so something that's happened to me just literally in the last 12 hours is I'm renting a beautiful place and I've been here for quite a while. I got an email to say, well, actually, we need you to vacate. Now, in the past, my beliefs would have come up and I would have gone into full-blown panic. And I've got mental illness, I've got depression and all that, which I freely talk about because I want the awareness. And but because of the work that I've done on my beliefs and everything, the excitement came out because, there's a suburb I want to move to. And I'm like, you know what? Now's the opportunity. Let's look at but it's because I've worked on all of those beliefs and that. And when you talked about the excitement, I'm like, yes, there is excitement. I'm actually really excited about this. Yet, as I said in the past, I would have gone into full blown, like breakdown.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. But I mean, there's something that to me, when something like that happens, there's an opportunity coming. There's
mm-hmm,
an opportunity somewhere.
mm-hmm,
Um, and if you stop, if I mean, obviously when things happen, it's normal human nature to feel,
mm-hmm,
sad or
mm-hmm,
a bit concerned, worried, anxious, like that's
mm-hmm,
natural and normal.
yep,
But to dwell there and to
mm-hmm,
stay there,
mm-hmm,
um, when will basically keep you looking down into what you're upset about instead of looking up and seeing what opportunities presenting itself,
yeah,
right? Um, so I'll tell you like about um one of my initial, I guess, pivotal moments that really helped me was many, many years ago. Um, I got let go of a position of a job.
mm-hmm,
I had no idea why. It
mm,
was like one of those things where they said they were shifting things around, and
mm,
I still don't know, don't care anymore. But um, at the time, I was like so upset.
mm,
That had never happened before.
mm,
I was absolutely devastated. And, you know, it was right after my dad had died.
mm,
And I remember thinking, like, man, what is going on? Like, this is just, it was so much of like, I had so much pain going on at the time. And then this happened. But, a couple of months later, when I started to like, um, live life again, I guess,
mm,
um, I decided to go to, officially, finish my social work degree.
mm,
And I went and I got like amazing opportunities from then. And I started actually getting opportunities I probably would have never had I stayed
mm.
at that position. And I wouldn't be here. That's
Mhm,
1,000% sure. I would
mm.
not be here had
Yes.
that not happened. So recently somebody had shared with me that they were really upset because they had been let go of a position. And I shared that story. I said, this is really exciting.
Mm,
I said, because now you can focus on what you want to do. There was something about that position that you didn't like, that did not
mm,
resonate with you, just like mine. At the time, I mean, yes, I love certain aspects of it, but other aspects, I just felt like trapped, right?
mhm,
Um, and so we started talking about the excitement. I said,
mm,
what is it? What do you get to create now? You get to
mm,
create something different. So like let's work on that, right? She's
beautiful.
gone on to start her own business. It's like
Mm,
exciting for her, actually
mm,
what she wants to do. But these are things that I think sometimes get thrown at us when we we don't have the maybe um we're too scared to do it
mm.
ourselves. And
Yes.
sometimes when it's time for us to move to the next level, things will
Mhm,
happen. We're
yes.
like, okay, just go. We gotta push. Just go. Get ready. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go, right? And
Yep.
I think that's how I take a lot of things that happen in life. Not to say we can't feel sad, we can't
Mm,
feel angry, we can't feel upset, we can't, really like mourn a
mm,
situation. Like that's all normal, natural, and to pretend it isn't, like that's
yeah,
not at all healthy,
mm,
right? But recognizing that even that after the sad,
mm,
you can, look up and see what is there, that,
mm,
there's so much more than just that
mm,
feeling of like despair, basically is
mhm.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what has been happening with me at the moment, and I'm so grateful that I've done all this work and I've surrounded myself with the most amazing business friends and personal friends, because I got the email and immediately I went, I don't want to swear, but that's what happened, because I've been here for 10 years and I'm like, what's going on? And then I actually stopped and I went, you know what? Yeah, it's all right to feel angry, but what's going on? What's happening? And so I messaged a couple of people, got straight on Facebook and I said, this is what happened. And I'm now, I'm gonna need to look for another place, but I'm actually want to look here. And the opportunities coming to me is incredible. I've got people going, actually, what about this? What about that? Give me a call. And it's like, holy crap, like, wow,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's,
it's
yeah,
exciting. It's
yeah,
just it's showing you that this happened for a
mm,
huge reason, and
yeah.
you're going in a different direction, and that's really, really, really
Mm.
exciting. So I'm happy for you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you're right. Because I've been here for a while, and I've been talking about moving to where I want to move to for ages. And chatting to my friend last night, and she goes, "You do know that if this hadn't happened, you probably wouldn't move there." And I went, "Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know."
probably not. You would maybe it would have been one of those dreams, just like, yeah, one
Mm,
day, and wouldn't have happened. So that's
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. Yeah. And, that's what I really want anyone listening to this is to understand what we're saying is that, if something happens, yes, as, Victoria's just said, we are going to feel those emotions. That is perfectly normal. Yet work with somebody like Victoria to actually help you work through that, because it's so important that we work through that and move, because we're just going to continue to grow and grow.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. You're right.
mm,
Um, so I think sometimes people might get overwhelmed with the thought of like, what do you mean we can change our life, or we can transform our life, or we can
mm.
rewire your brain. Like that's a big thing for me. I have a
Mm,
whole program, Rewire Your Brain for Success. And it's basically because everything we do day in, day out is like a computer program. Like our brain is
mm,
like a beautiful, advanced, amazing, universal
mm,
computer, right? Everything's connected.
mm,
Um, and we have been programmed from the time we're born. And that's normal, right? Like that's how we breathe. That's how we, do things. That's how we remember things. And it's a
mm,
beautiful thing. But when we are programmed with the programs such as like believe believing in scarcity,
mm,
believing in lack, believing that we don't deserve
mhm,
love, happiness, money,
mm,
success, believing that we are not worth it, or like whatever it is, we
mm,
all have something,
yep,
within,
mhm,
right? And the same way that we've been programmed to believe that, we can program ourselves to experience and believe something different.
mm,
Because with that belief, with whatever we have within ourselves, that is what we're going to use to see the world.
mm,
So, for example, when I was younger, if I felt that money was bad, then in the world, rich people are going to be bad.
mhm,
That's what I would notice,
mm,
right? If in the world somebody, told me that I wasn't, um, maybe that I wasn't good enough and that I
mhm,
didn't deserve love,
mm,
or somehow, some way that was embedded in me, then in my world, that's what I'm going to experience. I'm not going to see past my belief system. Like that's just
mhm,
what our program makes us see. Our
mhm,
program creates what we see
mm,
day in, day out. Not necessarily um like something such as autoplay, like auto replay, but for ourselves, when we have something that we want to see that's different. If
mm,
something is really affecting you, like, okay, like this has to stop. Like I never make ends meet, or
mhm,
um, then starting to acknowledge
mm,
that you have the ability to change it,
mm,
um, is a huge, huge thing. And I really have come to recognize that one of the best ways to prime your brain to be rewired to see things and experience things and become like dynamically different, is to start with a present state of true gratitude, right? Really, really, really be thankful, because something that really affects our nervous system and the way that our brain thinks is how we feel, right? How we feel day in, day out. And that's not small things, that's big thing. How you feel day in, day out will literally shape everything around you, your health, your relationships, your career, your jobs, the way that you deal with your children, everything, right? And gratitude is one of those things when you truly live in gratitude for what you have. There's always something to be grateful for. Something that you can always use to bring you back to those good feelings that you need to create that new program in your mind. And when you do that repeatedly over and over and over and over again, day in, day out, day in, day out, everything shifts, everything changes. Like my first main program that I did and that I still do, and it's one of my favorite ones, is Rewire Your Brain for Success 21-Day Gratitude Challenge. And that is what I call my foundation. It's your foundation to actually begin to rewire and create that program in your head so you can leave scarcity behind forever, right? And it's something that many people can do. It's not something that's going to be super hard for them to understand, right? And I tell people you can change your past and your future with your present, as crazy as it sounds. And what I mean by that is because your brain does not differentiate with what happened 20 years ago if it's still affecting you today. It does not differentiate with what it sees when you're projecting it in the future. It's happening today, right? So it doesn't know the difference. Whatever's in your head from 20 years ago, if it's affecting you today, in your head, in your brain, you're experiencing it all over again, like as if it happened, if it's happening today. Like your body is going through the exact same thing. So being able to switch the story from whatever it is that you're still holding on to from your past can change that forever. Can change the way it affects you forever. Can truly assist you to be present, like be present and make the changes that need to happen today, right? So that's one of the biggest things that I start to focus on with people, even just in my messaging, is to be in a perpetual state of gratitude, because gratitude will take you so many places that dwelling in negativity never can touch, right? And that's been one of my biggest, I guess, I almost want to feel like it feels like a cheat code because it seems easy, but it's it's easy, but it's not, because many times we can be grateful when we're happy, but sometimes when something happens, it's really difficult to be grateful, right? But when you have primed and practiced and helped your brain to really learn how to do this, it does shift into a new program and it does come naturally. Like for me, I'm literally grateful all the time, especially when something is not going right. I'm like, okay, what can I be grateful for? Because it always brings me back to what I need to focus on, which is the abundance mindset, the abundance of love, peace, and happiness, instead of focusing on what how negative I may feel about the present situation, and then I might be missing things that I should be seeing instead of dwelling on one little dot.
Yeah, I love that. And you're so right that, gratitude can be easy when we're feeling good, but when we're not, like when I was in my deepest depression, gratitude was the hardest thing for me to actually do. And yet it was the most profound thing that I could do. It was one of the things that really helped get me out of that state and to really look at my life and go, wow, I've been given an opportunity. Let's go for it. So gratitude is just It is so powerful, and I love that you've got a program on that. So for anyone watching, please check the description, because in there I've got how you can find Victoria, and please go and check her out, because you can tell from this amazing conversation that we've had that, you know, Victoria will help transform your life. So please go and check her out. And thank you, Victoria, for your time. And as I said, you know, I really appreciate it, because you're on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I was very
Mm,
happy to be here.
yeah.
Um, I I'm not sure if I sent you, I'll send you the link because I do have
Mm,
a freebie, like people can download the
awesome.
beginning of the workbook and
Mm,
they can do the exercises, and it's just they're so powerful and
mm.
amazing, and it's free, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, that'd be awesome. So for
yeah,
anyone
yeah,
watching, I'll chuck that in the description as well, because that sounds so good. So thank you again,
yeah.
Victoria. Any questions anyone's got, please chuck them in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.